We begin top story with late-breaking news.
Is it going to succeed, yes or no?
I think it's going to succeed. It's going to succeed.
Can you believe it?
Y'all did it.
KBLA Talk 1580 is about to celebrate its second anniversary on Juneteenth, and no terrible twos around here. We couldn't be more excited about all the good news we'll be announcing soon, including the launch of some new shows to keep giving you more of what you've been looking for.
Come on.
Smart radio for smart people. Hey, it's our celebration, but you get all the gifts. We'll be giving away fresh merch, swag bags, and a chance for you to join the private invitation-only, star-studded music and dance till you drop, food and drink galore second anniversary celebration. To stay in the know about the second anniversary details, download the KBLA Talk 1580 app right now. Don't miss out on your chance to be a winner. At KBLA Talk 1580, when we come forward, we're bringing everybody with us.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Somebody somewhere.
Oh, what?
Just beware my crew.
Coming from a city where no pity.
That's that West Coast right there.
Everybody wanna be a G when they grow up. Same song in my hood as it is in yours. They send real G's to the pen and scores. Wars caused by Jones, the snitches and punks. Speaking on the homies who the quickest to dump. Same fools riding have been down for years. Considered as the shits knit around their peers. 3 cheers to the turf for whatever it's worth. Cause I'm a representative till I'm setting the dirt. My mentality to battle the opponent to death. And checking every bus that ever wanted to step in my direction. With the question for testing. He asked when I represent like election. When some jumping, I'm dumping. Bumping fear in your ear when you hear that I'm coming.
Somebody somewhere. Best beware my crew.
Pretty much.
It's groovy.
You were checking out the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 15. I haven't heard that in so long. Oh, my God. That is from Martin Lawrence's movie, huh? What's the name of that movie again? When he had the psycho after him. What's the name of that movie again? I forgot. It's from the soundtrack, right?
Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Thin Line Between Love and Hate. I think it's from that soundtrack, right?
Mm-hmm. The movie that got me scared to say, I love you.
What? I've seen the movie. I don't remember that scene, though.
I remember Lynn Whitfield. I forgot her name on the movie.
Sexy boy. Lynn is sexy in that movie and always
even on the Martin show when she was trying to seduce Martin. But anyways, if I remember correctly, she was really upset with Martin on the movie because Martin would say like I love you or something like that, and I think she took that love word very, very serious.
So she really went crazy.
That's the reason why she went crazy. After Martin did whatever he did, I got to see that movie again. But I just remember being afraid to tell a woman that I love her because if I didn't handle my manly duties, you know what I'm saying?
Manly duties?
You know what I'm saying?
do like me. I used to go olive oil. Instead of saying I love you, just say olive oil. And they think you're saying I love you.
Doesn't matter.
Because
they'll still receive it that way.
They'll still receive it as I love you.
Yeah.
And you say, you told me you love me. I told you I wanted some olive oil so I can cook this fish. You got it twisted.
That's facts.
You've heard many of my Pulse one-on-one interviews on my show with people that I feel that have their fingers on the pulse of Black America. And tonight, you get another boost of Black brilliance and excellence. Interviews with people that I feel you need to know, especially the ones that are a friend of the show. Recently receiving the 2023 Irwin Award at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books for her Answers Unleashed STEM educational science book series, rocket scientist Olympia LaPointe has hailed the new Einstein by her fans and named the modern-day hidden figure by People magazine and Newsweek. Olympia LaPointe is an award-winning former NASA rocket scientist, TED speaker, and celebrity author. With advanced degrees in applied mathematics, LaPointe helped launch 28 NASA space shuttle missions to space and won the Modern Day Technology Leader Energy Engineer of the Year award. She gave TED Talks Reprogramming Your Brain to Overcome Fear, which has over 1 million views, and in 2019, she was the keynote speaker at the SAS Global Technology Forum, where she spoke to 6,000 AI engineers in the audience about AI innovation and human decision-making. And for more information about the greatness of Queen Olympia LaPointe, for those that missed it last week, here's a short clip, again, that illustrates her greatness. Listen.
Innovation is here. You are watching this video for a reason. No matter what you've gone through, no matter what you fear, your decisions from this point forward will bring you the answers that will be unleashed. I am Olympia LaPointe. No matter what you've gone through, no matter what you fear, no matter your situation, you can always find success for yourself and attract the life that you want. The key is deciding to reprogram your mind. Now, it's not easy, but it can be 100% done. I know. I did it myself. I'm a rocket scientist. I helped launch 28 NASA missions to space and wrote the books Mathophobia, How You Can Overcome Your Math Fears and Become a Rocket Scientist, Answers Unleashed, The Science of Unleashing Your Brain's Power, and my latest book, Answers Unleashed 2, The Science of Attracting What You Want. And I have developed a new type of science, it's thought science, the tree brain theory of relativity. And it's from my space knowledge and my personal experiences to help you unlock the power of your mind. In my youth, I experienced severe poverty, failing grades, emotional, physical, sexual abuse. I had to find a way to reprogram my brain to overcome toxic thinking and fear. My future self was banking on me to have the faith for a better tomorrow and to listen to the inner parts of myself who knows the truth. You have inner parts to yourself who knows the truth too. As a result, on TV, in my books, and on stages across the world, I show the process of unleashing your brain's power. Now, are you ready? Today, your answers will be unleashed.
We like to hope so, and tonight she descends back into the Danny Mo Show to discuss artificial intelligence, to calm or stoke our fears about the technology and how we humans are at another turning point in history within innovation and technology, and whether I gotta become Will Smith, like I said last week, like iRobot, I can handle it. Ladies and gentlemen, inside my post one-on-one, rocket scientist, author, and literal genius, Queen Olympia LaPointe. Come on in, let's go!
Danny, how are you?
Fantastic. By the way, your energy on that YouTube video, well, you must drink like 5 coffees before you did that thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just love inspiring people and sharing information so people have the answers so they make effective decisions. And so I'm so happy today to talk about part 2 of our understanding the concerns of artificial intelligence, especially with the news that came out today.
Well, I gotta say, you got heaping amounts of praise after your appearance last week. They were like, man, she coming back next week because we want to hear more. I'm like, she gonna be back up in it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I loved being on your show, and your audience had such amazing questions. And I just shout out to your audience. I mean, I love being on your show. Thank you so much for this opportunity to educate all of us about this technology that's emerging so we will be at the forefront of knowledge so we know how to go forward.
We are talking to modern-day hidden figure, Olympia LaPointe, inside my Post One-on-One, Danny Mo Show, KBLA Talk 1580. You know, speaking of my audience and speaking of questions, I brought a few because they sent it to me when they saw that you were going to be on the show. They sent some questions. So in a few, I'll give you a few of those questions. But before I give you them questions, you know we got to do top 5 dead or alive. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I'm going to put you on the spot.
What is this? Top 5 dead or alive?
Give me your top 5 coolest things about being a rocket scientist. Go.
Oh, wow. This is an interesting question.
Yeah.
What is the top 5 things about being a rocket scientist?
Yeah. The top 5 things that are the coolest things about being a rocket scientist.
If you can understand how a rocket engine works, which is kind of tough because it takes a long time, you have more confidence to be able to understand how anything on the face of the planet works. Anything. Because you think to yourself, if I could understand how a rocket works, I can learn how to code a website.
I think we all
things
agree.
Like that.
We put you at the top. You're at the top of the totem pole. If you can do that, I'm pretty much sure you can do anything on the world. That's for
Thank
sure.
you. Well, I have to learn. I don't know a whole lot of stuff, but the second thing I really think is cool is you learn how to learn. I mean, that sounds strange, but you don't know a lot of information when you're a rocket scientist. There's all these different people that do different things. Like there's people that specialize in the numbers that, like for myself, what I did, and then there's heat thermal engineers that can understand how something's going to melt. And then there's structural engineers that understand how things are going to rip apart. And you don't know what they know. So you always have to talk to people to find out what they know, and you also have to research. And so you learn how to learn new things. So I think that's a really cool thing about being a rocket scientist.
All right.
Third,
Mm-hmm.
this might sound really strange, but you never have to introduce yourself in crowds. There's always somebody that will say, do you know Olympia? Do you know such and such? They're a rocket scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is just walk in a room and somebody will introduce you for you. So that's actually a really cool thing. What number am I on? 4?
Number 4,
number 4
yeah.
now?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is you can actually really spot fake news. I mean, that sounds like it's strange, but like there's a whole lot of stuff that comes on like social media and like Instagram and TikTok and all this kind of stuff. And when you have like a background and education on things, you know when people are telling you things that's going to work versus things that are just like not right. Like, for example, do you remember that story when the woman put the Gorilla Glue in her hair?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we covered it on this show.
Yeah, and it was terrible because people don't know how toxic it was. She could have like died from that. I mean, that's how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And from like the migraines and headaches and everything that comes from toxic poisoning from that. But a lot of people may not know the science of why certain things are not good for you to do. So actually the cool thing about being a scientist is when you look at the news, you actually know when things are like really smart and when they're not. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. And the 5th thing, I get a chance to meet really cool people like you that do shows.
Aww.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, I've never asked you this question, and the way you were going off just now, talking about the people you come in contact with and how people speak so highly of you. You're a woman of color. I don't know what your racial background is, but you're a woman of color. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that you don't see many people of color in your area of expertise, in your career. Was that difficult coming up? It had to be.
Oh, yes, it was. Do you know it was really difficult from several different levels? Like my background, I have a very diverse background, and people are like, "What is your background?" And I'm a African American woman with
Indigenous American for sure.
Yeah, yes. So my mom has a diverse background. So did my dad. And my father passed away during the pandemic. My mom is alive, thankfully, and she is Caucasian white. She is Native American, and she's also Ashkenazi, Jewish. People would never guess.
So,
yeah,
so
and
your
then
middle name is your middle name Crayola? What's the deal? That's a lot of color.
No. Yeah. And then my dad, who passed away, he had a mixture of background from the Caribbean. So he was a man from the Caribbean. He was West Indian. So he had Indo-West Indian background. So that was, in that area, it's a combination of African from West Africa. It's a combination of British. It's also a combination of Indian, both from India as well as India, and then Indian from South America, and then there's a lot of Asian influences in the Caribbean. So it's like I everywhere I went, I kind of related with people because of the fact that I just really truly respect people, because more than likely I have some of their DNA.
Yeah.
And I really saw I stood out in the entire science world, because the majority of people who I came across were men, and then they were not people of color. Mm-hmm. And it was a learning experience for me, because different groups of people have different ways in which they communicate.
Right.
And I quickly had to learn the way that men communicate, because men communicate completely differently than women. And then Caucasian men and women of color, even men of color, communicate differently. Mm-hmm. And I had to understand the ways that people communicated so I could tell it to them in the words that they could understand, so they could hear me. Mm-hmm. And it was a process of understanding the common aspects of what human people bring to the table, which is their thinking. And I got a chance to really appreciate the diversity that I brought to the table because I am a woman of color, and I definitely saw things differently than they did. I grew up in poverty. I grew up with racial discrimination. I grew up with a lot of things in which they may not have even experienced or just simply seen on TV. So what I see and what I bring to the table with all technology, with rocket science, with AI, is the ability to see things in a different way. So people can find solutions in advance so there's more inclusion, diversity in every single bit of technology that's created.
God, that's an answer right there. Wow. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. You already may be aware of how we do, but for the new listeners, this is how we get down. After we discuss your brand a little bit more, of course, and of course AI technology, I got a couple of topics that have been bubbling within the black zeitgeist on artificial intelligence over the past few weeks. I'll play a clip in reference to each of the topics I've chosen. I will share my thoughts immediately thereafter. We will exchange dialogue accordingly, but when we come forward, though, I have got a number of questions I received from some of our listeners that really want to know some answers because we know answers are unleashed tonight on the Danny Mo Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about. Stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingarone, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Maytag month has got it going on. It's all you want with the savings all month long. Baby, can't you see? Maytag month is all you need. You know you can't go wrong when Maytag month is going on.
Upgrade to the performance you need on all Maytag major appliances during May is Maytag month, happening all month long.
Maytag month is going on.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
We are live inside my Post One-on-One with rocket scientist and author Olympia LaPointe. Answers will be unleashed tonight because that's just how she does. Right? Right, Queen?
Sure.
You just agree and keep it moving. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, I got a few questions. Listeners really love the engaging conversation you and I had last week, but I think there's a number of us, myself included, still a little bit confused on how things operate. So I'm going to toss you out the questions that I've been getting over the last few days, and you answer accordingly. You take it wherever you want to take it, okay?
Okay. Let's see what the question is.
Is it plagiarism if my kid uses AI to complete a tough homework assignment?
Oh, ooh.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to keep it real. Is it plagiarism?
Ooh.
If AI gives you the
know
answer
what?
and no one else is going to get the answer, I'm assuming, how is it plagiarism?
Actually, it is. And I'm going to tell you something. It is actually plagiarism when students use AI. Now, a lot of people don't know there is OpenAI, and ChatGPT is like the new AI that's being used by young people. And there was 1 million users within the first 5 days of it opening, and then within the next 60 days, there was 5 million users of this AI program.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I know. I was so surprised when I read that in Forbes. And it was so amazing because I found out that there was a heightened use of plagiarism all across school systems. It was so bad. It was to the point that New York school children were the rampant users, and that caused the New York City to ban the ChatGPT on its school computers.
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah, but you could go home and do your homework and still use it. What's that going to change?
Well, because the AI has the ability to actually tap into the computer networks of all the different files of all the students on the New York school system network.
You're talking like that's a good thing. That's a scary answer you just gave me.
That's a scary thing, so they have to ban it. And then plus two, the Wharton School of Business has issued a plagiarism alert because school officials found out that AI was taking some of their tests and scored a B on the final exam. So there are software programs on the market that give you answers. And so because of this heightened risk of plagiarism, there are now new softwares available on the market free to determine if a student has used AI in its writing. And so these computer systems, I'm going to name what they are, they look for three things.
Okay.
They look for a particular language, how the language is used in the paper. Now, I've been a professor for like 14 years of the college system, and I've seen everything. Trust me, I taught math for like 14 years, and I'm about to teach technology and political science course at another campus. And I have seen people plagiarize, and I can always tell if somebody plagiarized from something because it has a certain language to it, and it doesn't necessarily flow.
Do you think that you would be able to tell if it was AI, though? Because isn't it specific to that user and the way in which they type and write? And no?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I could always tell by a couple of things. How they chose to use their words, both how they spoke and how they wrote. And then I could always tell by their handwriting. Now, I know a lot of people type things, especially in type of courses now, but I could always tell by the handwriting. So these computer programs look at the particular language that's used. The second thing that they look at is the formatting structure.
Mm.
Now, some things with AI, they will just throw a whole lot of random stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have a complete train of thought, like a human is actually processing the information and pulling up the points to prove a point. It's more like you have a whole lot of data put down there, but it doesn't have any type of strategy to it. And the third thing that these programs look for is the repetition of keywords. There's certain chances that certain words should be used, and so these programs use mathematics to determine if it's a human or a machine that's used it. So these are the programs that actually determine if someone has plagiarized. It's GPT Radar. They actually use human or machine metrics. GPT-0, Turn It In, Copy Leaks. That was the funniest name I saw. It's Copy Leaks.
Instead of WikiLeaks, it's Copy Leaks. I love it.
Copy Leaks. When I saw that, I cracked up laughing. I'm like, whoever named that was really clever. And then Winston AI, and even Google is ensuring their indexes and website content is not AI generated. So it actually is going through tools on their back end, because Google is one of the main competitors of AI. They're going through on their back end to verify that website content is not being generated by AI, and so they're looking at different uses of of websites that have been recently created.
We are talking to rocket scientist and author Olympia LaPointe inside my Post 101, Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, great answer to that question. Here's your next one. We got 3 minutes before the bottom of the hour, but I'll kick you the question now. What if business people use it to complete their emails and send it to someone with instructions that compromises the integrity of their business model? Could they sue the parent AI company?
Woo!
Come on. Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Let's repeat the question, because this is a multi-part question. Let's repeat it again so I can really break this down. This is good.
What if business people use it to complete their emails, right? You send it to somebody with instructions that compromises the integrity of their business model. You use AI to send that email. Couldn't they, if things go wrong, if things go awry, if you will, sue that company and say, they screwed everything up. The AI didn't do what I intended for them to do.
That's an excellent question. At this point in time, no. Unless there's new laws that are established by the United States government. But right now, there are no laws on the books, no regulatory procedures to ensure AI doesn't damage the integrity of business models. And so let's break this down in several parts on why that would be an issue.
Okay.
And we're going to do this real quick. Number one is that your business model, if it's generated, let's say two reasons. If your business model is generated by AI, it may not contain some of the business-specific content in which is for your business. Like, for example, if you were to open up a donut shop and you're in an area with a whole lot of kids, AI wouldn't know that you're in a highly dense area of potential buyers of donuts. Mm-hmm. But if you had just a general type of plan, AI wouldn't necessarily understand the key benefits of what your business was. Let's say you were to email your information to somebody else, and AI would automatically go through all your emails and pull out your information and then put it together and give it to somebody else, which is
terrifying.
Quite possible.
Oh, my God.
Which is quite possible. Which is quite possible. Since there are no laws on the books pertaining to AI and its generation and usage, someone could legally take that information, run with it, and you would not have any type of legal recourse unless it's a U.S. trademark company where they're using your name for it.
We are in uncharted waters right now. I am terrified on what the next 5 to 10 years looks like. I think we're going to have some serious issues here. You seem, pretty excited about the whole thing. You always look at things with rose-colored glasses, it seems. Me, I'm the other cat. I'm on the dark side of things, and I'm terrified. But hopefully you can calm my fears before the end of the show. Hold that thought. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, more listener questions for modern-day hidden figure Olympia LaPointe. She's got the answers unleashed, and we might even take a phone call or two. 1-800-920-1580. Olympia LaPointe, inside my Post 101, Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. It's your news and traffic. Stay there.
Nighttime is the right time for Danny Morrison on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Americans' overwhelmingly positive views of childhood vaccines are steady since the COVID pandemic. A Pew Research Center poll found that 88% of U.S. adults say the benefits of vaccines to protect kids from measles, mumps, and rubella outweigh the risks. That's about the same number from the same poll in 2016 and 2019, pre-pandemic. Well, an attorney for writer E. Jean Carroll says former President Trump's comments bashing Carroll during his recent CNN town hall are definitely actionable. This comes after a jury found Trump liable for sexually abusing Carroll and defaming her while he denied the allegations. During last week's town hall after the verdict, Trump attacked Carroll, labeling the accusations
a fake story, made-up story.
I'm Julius White on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
If you're a late-night snacker, listen up. Buffalo Wild Wings created a menu of late-night food and drinks starting at $4, 10 till close, full of tasty apps and ice-cold beer to wash it all down. Limited time at participating locations. Offers, days, and times may vary. Drink responsibly. Void or prohibited. Tax and fees extra.
We begin top story with late breaking news.
Is it going to succeed, yes or no?
I think it's going to succeed. It's going to succeed.
Can you believe it? Y'all did it! KBLA Talk 1580 is about to celebrate its second anniversary on Juneteenth, and no terrible twos around here. We couldn't be more excited about all the good news we'll be announcing soon, including the launch of some new shows to keep giving you more of what you've been looking for. Come on! Smart radio for smart people. Hey, it's our celebration, but you get all the gifts. We'll be giving away fresh merch, swag bags, and a chance for you to join the private invitation-only, star-studded music and dance till you drop, food and drink galore second anniversary celebration. To stay in the know about the second anniversary details, download the KBLA Talk 1580 app right now. Don't miss out on your chance to be a winner. At KBLA Talk 1580, when we come forward, we're bringing everybody with us.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
The pandemic may be over, but many Angelinos could be at risk of losing the place they call home. It's important to know your rights as a residential renter in the city of LA. Did you know eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt that was due before March 31st, 2023? And that you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice, also known as an unlawful detainer. Learn more about your rental rights at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
Something new is happening in California's public schools.
They're called community schools.
One of the foundations of community schools is shared decision making,
where parents and families, students and educators make decisions as one.
Community schools lift the voices of folks that have traditionally been underserved.
Many of our classes are designed around our own students' cultures, their background, their personal experiences.
We bring culturally relevant curriculum to the classroom based on what their specific needs are.
Improving student achievement and innovative classes like cybersecurity and gardening.
And we assist families with their needs.
Some schools have parent education programs, cooking and nutrition classes.
Everything from medical or dental services to immigration law services.
This is a one-stop shop that serves the needs of not just the students, but their families as well.
They're California's community schools, reimagining public education. Paid for by the California Teachers Association.
If you have certain chronic conditions, such as heart disease,
asthma,
diabetes, and you're 19 years of age or older,
52, 36,
42, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'm going to ask my doctor about getting vaccinated.
With Prevnar 20.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
would. And I would call out your name, girl. Happy birthday, Janet Jackson, my future baby mama, inside the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA, Talk 1580. Mimi's like, Danny hasn't even mentioned it's Janet Jackson's birthday. Because saying her name right now is painful because I can't get to that concert. I've had multiple opportunities to get there, and then I see the price and I go, Danny ain't going to see Janet Jackson. That's not going to happen. Only concert I'm going to be a part of is watching her on my TV. That's about it. But happy birthday, Janet Jackson. But right now we're inside a conversation inside my Pulse One-on-One. Olympia LaPointe. Let's bring you back up in here. I just got a notification on my phone, and it kind of runs parallel to our conversation tonight. It says, study reveals staggering being black in America. 1.6 million excess deaths over the last 22 years. Although the nation had made progress in closing the gap between white and black mortality rates, that advance stalled. Then COVID hit. And it got me thinking, so we were sitting there talking about you growing up as a woman of color inside that field. How do we get more young black kids more involved in STEAM learning? Because I know young black girls are more involved than young black boys, but how do we, for those who don't know what STEAM learning is, by the way, it's an approach to teaching and learning that combines science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. And I would love to see young black kids more involved in COVID research and more black kids involved in AI technology. Do you see that ever happening? And what are your remedies that may allow that to happen in the future?
Yes. Can I say that again? Yes.
Take it wherever you want to take it. It's all yours.
People of color, young women and men, as well as Caucasian women who have been historically left out of this STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and even the STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts.
Don't forget the arts now. Come on now.
Education.
Yeah.
Well, I am. People don't know this. I was actually a performer a professional performer before I became before I studied mathematics at California State University in Northridge. I trained to be a professional dancer and theater major. So I love STEM. Yeah, I mean, in STEAM. Yeah.
You never told me that.
Oh,
you
were
a pro dancer.
Oh,
Look at you. What do you mean, like ballet?
Yeah.
What kind of dancing? Tap dancing? What we talking about?
I wasn't necessarily good at ballet. I was jazz is my thing. Modern jazz, tap. I learned how to tap dance.
Wow.
When I was in my 20s, I became a semi-pro salsa dancer. Well, I love that. But I learned how to act, sing. I can sing Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston after I warm up my voice. But yeah, I love it.
Well, you can't just toss out, I used to sing like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. You really? You got to be careful with them words now. Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I have to be prepared for that, and I have to be paid to do something like that.
I ain't going to put you on the spot right now. I was about to put you on the spot, but I ain't going to do it. Hey, let's get into the big news that came out today. I need you to break it down because when I saw it, I didn't exactly understand it. It says here, the creator of advanced chatbot, ChatGPT, has called on U.S. lawmakers to regulate artificial intelligence. I'm assuming that's good news, but please tell me that it is actually good news.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Actually, it's good news.
Now, why is that?
For those of you who don't know, and let's break this down for the listeners. Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI, and that's the company behind the ChatGPT. So if you have been hearing about ChatGPT, he's the person who's the CEO of the company that runs that. So he testified before the U.S. Senate today about the opportunities and concerns of new technology, specifically this AI. And so what he did is he presented a three-prong approach, a three-point plan to make sure that AI has oversight. Because right now, like with the question right before we went on the break, is if you have emails and information that you have in your email system, what keeps it from being shared with the next person in their AI search, you know? So right now, there's other companies like ChatGPT who are creating AI. So Google is one. There's top companies that are doing this. Google is one. Microsoft, IBM, NVIDIA, Apple. And these are all, especially if I want to point out Microsoft and Google, they're the ones behind like the authentications. Like when you get into like Facebook or like Instagram or your servers or your emails, you have to go through an authentication a lot of times. And so they are securing data on their servers. So they're in this race with ChatGPT to make sure that they can secure certain information for their use. So so it's like this, it's an all-out war on who's going to be the first AI group of people who can master this. So this Sam Altman said, whoa. Before these other companies start taking the lead, we need some regulations. So what he presented is 3 suggestions. The first suggestion was that a new government agency be formed so they create laws. And so these government, it's like, you know how the IRS have laws for people, how they use their money?
Right.
And like, the DMV has laws about how they use their car.
Right.
Well, but the DMV is state level. Well, he suggested having a governmental agency, or like the Department of Defense, for example. Department of Defense is the one that makes sure that all weapons and everything else are registered and only certain people can have it.
Mm-hmm.
He suggested that the United States government create a form of governmental regulation like this. And the second point that he suggested was that there needs to be safety concerns for all AI so you can shut it off so that it doesn't go run wild and so it doesn't go rogue. And then the third recommendation he had was that if you're going to do AI, you have to do some independent audits to make sure it's giving you right results and it's not giving you fake information where you're going off of it, using it, and it's going to harm people. So that was his recommendation to the U.S. Senate, to create these laws so people won't be harmed by the output of AI, whether it be beneficial or malicious.
But Olympia, there's only a handful of people that understand this technology, and no disrespect to our governments, but they don't exactly get a lot of things right when they get their hands on it. I don't want this to be federal because I got all kind of problems with it. You think?
Well, actually, I would argue that it would be a good idea. Now, a lot of people don't know that there's 2 major countries in this AI race: China and the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the United States is creating its own army of people who can code. I mean, that sounds strange, but the people, mark my words, in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see an army of computer scientists where they will go in and fight different type of cyber wars, making sure that, for example, water systems won't be taken off the grid, or cities won't go dark from an electrical grid shortage, or making sure that all of the internet doesn't go out for an entire country, things like that. So the United States has really highly technically advanced people working at the National Security Agency, the NSA, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, who are specialists with this. So they just haven't been speaking about what they're doing, but they're doing it behind the scenes.
Do you think that, in 30 seconds, do you think we'll be at the forefront of the technology 10 years from now, or will it be China?
Well, it all depends on how these different models of AI works. That this AI is going to be, whoever can master this AI is going to master quantum computing, and that person, that group that can master quantum computing will master the quantum internet, and that whoever that country is will be winning the race.
Looks like a job for Olympia LaPointe. That's what I think. How's that? 1-800-92. 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we got to get a clip out before we let you go. We have to. And maybe another question or two from our listeners. We're talking to modern-day hidden figure, author, genius, Olympia LaPointe, inside my Post 101, talking AI tonight. Danny Mo Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
Reparations Task Force concludes its 15th meeting and votes on its final report, suggesting that upward of $800 billion is owed to Black Californians who are descendants of slaves. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. The 9-member task force finalized its recommendations for compensating Black Californians for state laws, policies, and practices that have disproportionately and negatively affected African Americans. The final report, which will be available to the public, is expected to be about 1,000 pages long. Among the recommendations made, the state of California should issue a formal apology for the perpetration of gross human rights violations and the genocide of Africans who were enslaved and their descendants. The implied admission of guilt should mitigate the harm historically inflicted on the Black community, according to members of the task force. U.S. Representative Barbara Lee says reparations are not a luxury for our people, but a human right long overdue for millions of Americans.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talents, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
In conversation right now with a hidden figure, modern day hidden figure, Olympia LaPointe, also a genius and also a rocket scientist and also an author and also just about to save the world. Right? in my humble opinion.
Well, that's really, thank you for saying that. I think God's going to save the world, but thank you.
I love hearing a scientist talk about God. We got to bring her back. By the way, next week we're going to do a show on God, about the origins of Christianity, and we got a historian coming on. I should bring you in
come
too.
Back and tell you?
We should have like a little battle, like a toe-to-toe battle. Bring a scientist on and a historian. Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Oh, well, no. I don't like arguing with people. I just like being able to tell people how it is.
Ooh. Okay, maybe we won't do it this time. We won't have a versus battle. That'll be a versus battle for your tail right there. Let's get a clip out real fast here. Andy, let's jump to Roberto Nixon. Let's go to that third clip because I don't have her for a lot more time. Is that cool? All right, this story involves our man Roberto Nixon, who makes a return to the broadcast. Some shocking pictures involving the arrest of Donald Trump came out recently, and it proves my biggest fear may actually be coming true leading up to the 2024 presidential election. Listen.
The internet's going crazy over these photos of Donald Trump being arrested. The only thing is Donald Trump has not been arrested, and these photos are fake. They're AI generated. with Midjourney version 5, and the internet doesn't know. A lot of them don't seem to care. People are either happy that he's being arrested or pissed off that he's being arrested. But the point is, we've now officially entered an era of AI propaganda with the release of Midjourney version 5. We no longer know whether something is real, something is fake. So always remember, don't believe everything you see, hear, or read on the internet, because now with the generative AI being as good as it is, we don't know. By the way, if I broke out of prison, I'd probably go to McDonald's too. Just saying. Peace.
Olympia, save us now. Come on. How can we have a free and fair election when we can't even trust anything that we see online? Is there a way to tell the difference between the real and the fake? Please tell me that there is.
Yes, there is. Actually, what each AI... See, computer programs are able to identify fake images. They are actually coded. There's a back-end way to be able to identify fake images. What this new... What the technology officials are suggesting is that there be a warning placed on any and every image or video that's created from AI to show that it's fake and it's not real.
See, that'd be great.
So that's what one of the laws are suggesting, which is the regulatory procedure to make sure that anything that is created that is not authentic needs to be flagged. You know how people bootleg the video, the films, it's like a federal offense if you were to film a video and redistribute it and sell it. So it's not the original. And you usually know the original is not the original because it isn't the same quality, the bootleg version. Well, that is suggested as one of these laws, meaning that you cannot post a photo made from AI without specifically indicating it's AI generated. Now, this brings up a huge process and problem, and that's why they're really pushing for these laws and these regulatory agencies to create something or some sort of executive order, because the elections are coming up.
That's right.
And right now, it is completely easy for propaganda to be spread through AI generation. For example, let me pull this information out. In 2019, the RAND Corporation did an analysis, and they published their findings in an article, Hostile Social Manipulation by Russia and China's Growing but Poorly Understood Threat. So China, just like the United States, has their own, and Russia have their own AI systems. And these AI systems are Alibaba and Baidu. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And they are just like the Chat GPT. So the United States is not the only people creating this AI. So there is a gigantic threat of this. And even not only from foreign entities and foreign actors creating fake news that would create slander and create false information and false news, which is propaganda. Psychology Today article had a concern of how AI could be used to manipulate people. And it was from April 2023 issue that said that it could be used to create mind manipulation of by analyzing patterns in people's online activities and social media interaction. So if someone is Googling Trump imprisonment, let's say, then more than likely they would see a video of a false image of Trump being handcuffed. Now, if those of us who are knowledgeable about the news will know the truth, which is he was brought into the courthouse and it was not handcuffed, but he actually walked in and had an agreement with his...
That's a whole different conversation, Olympia. I'm just saying.
I
Google Trump imprisonment every single night. I'm just saying, well, that's just me. But you were saying, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Those of us that watch the credible news will know that didn't happen. I know a lot of people wanted to see that, and more than likely the people who are watching the fake video are really just going to town watching the fake video for their own mental replay. But in any case, you can actually always tell if something's generated by AI. This is how I know. The eyes don't necessarily move at a normal human rate.
Yeah.
That's the way that personally I can tell, is that when I look at someone's eyes or their teeth
Yeah.
or how their facial structure would naturally move. See, the brain is very smart. It can pick up patterns faster than any AI. A lot of people don't know that the human brain is much smarter than AI, and it can pick up patterns by its intuition. For example, the human brain has, and I write about this in my second book, which is the human brain has this natural ability to pick up patterns in things that will identify if it's real or fake. It is just the human gift that we've been given by God to be able to determine and decipher if things are real. And it's based on our neurons and our dendrites in our body, in our brain specifically. One dendrite, now a lot of people don't know, one dendrite in the human brain is like the tree branches. Like each brain has like tree, it looks like a tree branches and it connects different parts together. It's like the gray connection cells. And these contain as much, one dendrite contains as much information and even more information than the entire World Wide Web.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And dendrites are like these tree-like structures that connect the neurons in the brain. And there are over 100, guess what, 100 billion neurons in the average human brain. And on average, there are 7,000 dendrites in each neuron.
And you still got stupid people in the world. You still got people driving on the freeway with their blinker on. You still, even still.
The human brain is so powerful. And it's really important for people to understand this natural function of the human brain. Although we understand just 10% of its function, 90% of its function is still under investigation. And it's the ability for us to determine if something is real or fake. If you really stare at it, you will know. And it's part of it is because AI isn't that developed yet, and part of it is too is that you can really tell if you pay attention.
Olympia,
so keeping the
Olympia LaPointe, we're out of time. We're up against it real quick here.
Oh, we can keep going. I could talk about this all day long.
I know
several
you can.
hours, several weeks.
30 seconds. How can people find you, follow you, the whole nine?
Great. Find me on two websites, answersunleashed.com, and it is my website, and it gives more information about the keynote talks and lectures I give, as well as most recent AI news, as well as science news that's out there. And then you're also welcome to go to my main webpage, olympialapointe.com, to find out more information about me and invite me to speak.
I love and appreciate you, Queen. We will talk to you real soon. I'll be in touch, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, KBLA.
We love you. Rocket scientist and author Olympia LaPointe, my Post One-on-One, Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got Mo on the other side, news and traffic now. Stay there.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Americans' overwhelmingly positive views of childhood vaccines are steady since the COVID pandemic. A Pew Research Center poll found that 88% of U.S. adults say the benefits of vaccines to protect kids from measles, mumps, and rubella outweigh the risks. That's about the same number from the same poll in 2016 and 2019, pre-pandemic. Well, an attorney for writer E. Jean Carroll says former President Trump's comments bashing Carroll during his recent CNN